So my question is, will you notify the county executive that I was here today?
I'm not sure. I have to ask my manager and see how we would handle this. I don't know that you are coming as media, so I'd have to talk with my manager.
So how do you define media?
This is Susan Bassi at the local voting office with a reminder. You don't need a press pass to record government employees or request information from public records. Just because the government hides those records in a database protected by lawyers and officials doesn't mean you can't access them or that you have to identify when you're requesting them. This is the same county where taxpayers were forced to pay when police officers unlawfully demanded ID from people requesting public records from police officers. Now, as we're requesting records related to the district attorney and judges who serve in the county, we're facing another unconstitutional policy.
Hi, how are you? The sun finally came out. So we're looking for the 2018 nomination records for 3 specific, you want me to write them down for you?
Is this for a particular organization?
We're journalists and yes, and the public as well.
Okay, let me just call our public legislative division real quick, and I'll be.
Okay. So do you want the names now?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first is Hendrickson, Judge Hendrickson.
Okay.
The next is the Rosen 2018 election. They're all 2018. And then the last one is Persky. Persky.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Awesome. Thank you. And I said we're members of the.
So you asked to see public records and they asked what organization you were with?
Once again, this is the county that lost a taxpayer waste lawsuit because the police departments in the county were asking individuals seeking public records for identification. And that sets up all kinds of forms of retaliation and government surveillance. The records are the people's business, and the public has a right to know without identifying who is asking, whether it's a journalist or a member of the public.
Hi.
Hi. So I was told that you are journalists.
Members of the public, we wanted to get voting information on those 3 candidates for 2018.
Voting information?
Yeah.
What type of information?
The just the nomination records. I know we're able to use those computers, right? And then you would show us how we would be able to obtain it.
I'm just wondering because you're recording. You're Susan, right?
I am.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we're trying to find out.
In case you missed that from behind the glass, this public employee exhibits some training in tolerating public recording, but he did identify me, which means there's probably been some public records and some memos about me recording in that office. I'd only been there 2 times before. So after I left the office, I did ask for public records related to any such memos that might exist.
And your name? What is your name?
I'm Steve Coltiel.
Okay, Steve. So first of all, they were asked right when we came in what organization they were with. And you're kind of asking again. No member of the public should have to say that. Anybody can do that. A reporter is just a member of the public. And these are 2 ladies that are trying to get information about the 2018 election, and they're being trained as journalists. And so part of that training means that the government's not allowed to know who they are when they're asking for access to public records. So she's asked for access to those records on the nominations for Cindy Hendrickson, for Judge Persky, and for Jeff Rosen in the 2018 election. And then next, they're going to ask for assistance in reviewing the 460 forms and how they go through that because they're learning how to cover elections. You knew who I was when I was just recording. I shouldn't have to intervene. I'm here to document the process and how it goes, but it is disappointing that as much as I've been doing this, that you guys are continuing to ask people who is asking for the records. And I will tell you, we're investigating a voter fraud issue related to one of your employees and the Hendrickson campaign in 2018. So I don't want any mess ups. I want everyone doing their job right now the way they need to do it. So Steve, what is your last name again?
Coltiel.
Can you spell that, please?
Goltiao.
Okay. So is Eric still employed here?
I don't know. know.
He was your communications person in 2019. He's former San Jose Mercury reporter. I think it's KULRI or something. Is he still employed in this
You
office?
asked about him last time. You know that he's not working here with us.
He doesn't work here anymore?
No.
Okay, is he still employed in the county?
He is.
This is the same voting office in early 2020 when I went to ask for the same records. You'll notice there's no glass or plastic barrier between the public and the employees. And when I asked for records then, they sent in the public information officer, who told me he was a former San Jose Mercury reporter and that my requests would have to go through the county attorney. And this is our exchange.
I want to get it on film. Hey, I'm being prosecuted by the Santa Clara County District Attorney for filming in a court file room. He clearly doesn't want me to know certain things. You're a former reporter for the Mercury.
Susan, you have told me your CPRA request verbally. I have taken it down, and we will
No,
start.
I'm asking for access to the records, which is under the California Public Records Law. I don't have to wait 10 days. I want to know what records there are that I can get access to.
Okay.
And I have your information, and I want to know Tuesday morning what I can see, what I can start going through, because there's probably a lot of records.
Okay, I'll talk to you Tuesday morning.
Okay, thank you.
Before he was a public information officer working for the county's voting office with the title of Public Risk Communications, making $200,000 a year, he was a newspaper reporter attending a secret Silicon Valley judge club with other San Jose Mercury news reporters, the district attorney, divorce attorneys, police officers, and prosecutors, including Cindy Hendrickson. The club met in secret on the public dime and held off-record meetings where these reporters were cheating, meaning they didn't get records or do the work that reporters are supposed to do. They sat in the government club and forgot to invite the public who paid for the meetings. Judges get elected or appointed to the bench, and that means they can be recalled. But once they are judges, they are not supposed to be political or lend the prestige of their office to others, as Cindy Hendrickson has continued to do by promoting these reporters on her social media accounts 7 years after she became a judge.
Okay. Well, it's a problem because he's connected to Cindy Hendrickson's social media accounts that are still being promoted to the public, and judges are not allowed to be political, and Cindy Hendrickson still has all of her social media accounts up promoting him while he was an employee here in the election, and that's an election that we're investigating. So when I came in 2019, I had heard complaints that there were ballots being shredded, and everybody got a little dicey about me looking into that, and I want to make sure there's no retaliation.
Journalists and the media, which is why I had to ask if we disseminate any kind of information to the media, then it has to go through my division. That's why.
Okay, if that's a policy, that's a problem. So I'm going to need to see a copy of that policy. You just described that if you give any information to the media, it has to go a certain route. And what I'm telling you is that the public and the media are the same. The only difference is the training and the experience that we have. And this county has a huge problem with running an illicit bar bench media police committee with certain journalists. So that's another policy that is problematic. So they want to see the nomination records that they have a right to see from 2018. They're in the file right over there because I've pulled them 3 times and I've had them on video. So it doesn't have to go through a communications person. They need to be able to see that. She specifically needs to see those nomination records. We're looking for certain names. She knows she cannot record them. She knows she cannot copy them. She knows she cannot say them out loud while I'm recording. She needs to see them. She needs to see them. They're members of the public and they don't need clearance to get it.
Yeah, I can grab it, but the 2018 record is already in our warehouse. So I can grab it, but it might take 30 minutes or maybe an hour, if that's okay with you too.
That's fine. And then what we'll do is we'll look at the 460 forms while we're waiting for that. Is that all right?
So do you know the committee name so we can pull that up?
The one would be the Judge Hendrickson committee. I don't know what she put it under.
So 460 is actually accessible via public portal if you want.
Right. That's why I was hoping you could show them how to do that. Thank you.
And Susan, to be clear, we're not treating the media and the public differently. It's just that the process that we have to do, because we have to report to the county executive any kind of interaction that we have with the media to make sure that they're in the know of what we say to the media, and so that. When they're
So
aware-
your policy is that you have to report to the county executive's office, which is James Williams right now, and Casey Halcone. You have to report to them any interaction you have with the media. Do you consider me media?
I think in our last meeting, you considered yourself an independent journalist.
Okay, so the fact that you need somebody to identify if they're media or not is a problematic policy of the county. The county executive does not have a right to know everything journalists are doing in their news gathering activities. So I'm going to need a copy of that policy that requires you. So could you please get that for me? The policy that requires you to notify the county executive when there is an issue. I need to know that.
I will try and dig that up for you.
Okay, we'll be here for a while looking at those 460 forms and waiting for the nomination forms, but I'm going to need a copy of that policy. Okay?
We'll see what I can.
All right, thanks, Steve. Sleeping on the job.
As these members of the public waited for the nomination records that cannot be photographed, requested as public records, or viewed in any way other than at the office, they looked at other records on the computer that tell about the money that flowed into these campaigns, who donated to the district attorney, who donated to Judge Hendrickson, and who donated to recall Judge Aaron Persky.
The oldest form that was filed.
For Jeff Rosen?
For Jeff Rosen.
Okay.
For DA. Bianca, where are you?
Treasurer.
The treasurer for his
Treasurer,
campaign.
yes.
Okay. Okay, this next name, that's a retired police chief that was regularly going to the Bar Bench Media Police Committee. So when you see retired,
NA.
it's interesting to know what they were doing before they were retired and if that might be connected to why they're trying to keep him in office.
Cindy Hendrickson is presently facing a disqualification motion. The litigant and the attorney who filed that motion against her claim that she not only acted with bias, but she also failed to disclose her relationship with a nonprofit by the name of Women SV, and she also failed to disclose the fact that she sat on the County Domestic Violence Council with divorce attorney Nicole Ford, who was the attorney for one of the parties in the case. And so we're investigating other conflicts of interest, including who might have donated to her campaign and supported her and tried to have Judge Persky recalled.
Online ads.
Dave Hendrickson. Oh, remember? Oh, he doesn't. Oh, so he's pushing her online ads. She pays his campaign. That's her husband who did the painting for Women SV right a year after this. And he's doing her ads. And what else is he doing in his little side hustle?
I think that's it.
You know what? Guess what? I'm going to tell you something. You see that? Dave Hendrickson did online ads for her on that day and was paid that amount of money. Guess what? She has a disclosure obligation to disclose his income in every way he gets it. So now we're going to look at her 700 forms and see if she disclosed that income from her husband.
Judges have immunity for what they do on the bench. They don't have immunity for what they do in their political campaigns. They're required to disclose every cent that they earn and every cent that they spend. And they must disclose the names of the people who donate to their campaigns and how much they give.
Catherine Henley from Morgan Hill, retired.
Oh, look at Ann Huntley, Deputy DA from Dublin.
From Dublin.
Yeah.
But she's a DA from here. Chief Operating Officer from Crowd Pack. Remember, this is the women's movement. This is 2017. This is when all of that,
Me too.
the Me Too, we're covering the protests, the women's march is going on. That's her co-campaigner for the recall. Jennifer Higgins Branadini's on that. Legal consulting in Walnut Creek. Mary Pitts, again, venture capital.
She has another Virginia, Ann Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
To be clear, these county employees did a great job. They did their job well, they got us the information that we needed, and they clarified the policies. They're not the problem. The problem is their supervisors, the county executives, and the county attorneys that are making records difficult for the public to access and surveilling what news organizations are reporting on them.
You have the policy?
So, it's not a written policy that we have, it's just.
We call that an informal policy and procedure. So when you articulated it to me, I suspected it probably wasn't a formal policy that I could request records from. So, but somebody has instructed you to do that, and so it's an informal policy. So I'm looking for what that is.
The informal policy is just that whenever we talk to the media, that whatever information that we share, we push that up to the county exec so that they know what we said and what's coming from our
So
office.
for them coming in here today to ask for those files, you'll contact the county executive and tell them that two people came and pulled that information.
If they're members of the media, yeah.
Okay, so they told you they're journalism training interns. Would you contact the?
In this case, I don't believe so.
Okay, I'm curious why that policy is, because really it's surveilling the media, which the government shouldn't be doing. That concerns me. So,
I mean, I guess it depends how you look at it. It's not what it is. All we're doing is we're letting the management know that we had spoken with somebody just so that they know. So what happened is, let's say if we share something with you and then you go out and report it, it would help the execs to know what has been said prior so that they're
but
not taken by-
an ethical journalist will ask for comment or whatever, and we're allowed to news gather without somebody knowing what we're doing. So that's a policy that's concerning. I mean, if you're enforcing a policy, so you understand, you knew who I was. You know, when I started recording it, people suddenly know that I'm doing that, and they recognize me, even though my face is not showing on that. And you knew who I was, so when I was with them, they're now associated with me. And when a county is retaliating against a journalist and people are associated with them, that's a dangerous policy that you would notify people are coming, which is why they were instructed to not give their name of who they were, but they were asked.
But where's the retaliation?
The
I don't think we were retaliating.
not you specifically, the county is retaliating. So the county has retaliated with an employee from the Domestic Violence Council and also the county executive's office. So if you notify the county's executive's office, that's potential retaliation. And so I need to know about those policies. So my question is, will you notify the county executive that I was here today?
I'm not sure. I have to ask my manager and see how we would handle this. I don't know that you are coming as media, so I'd have to talk with our manager.
So how do you define media?